It's like, you're dying, sir. Your heart has completely stopped. Your body doesn't require blood anymore. You're done. You've done it, sir. All right. Morning, everybody. Zach here. Today is rest day. Means we are going to go ahead and do some cardio. Make sure we get our movement goal for the day. Get started here on the bike. My watch going. For these ones I wear the, this time it actually does matter wearing the heart rate monitor. I wear the little arm heart rate monitor from Polar. It's usually what I like to do when I'm running, walking, cycle, whatever. Usually cardio activities. It's even good for swimming. They make little swim cap bit, put it in. All right, if I can just find cycling here. Yeah, all right. So how you all doing out there? Well, hopefully. Oh man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start including something like what I included in episode 50 at the end there. Just a little message. Every now and again, of course, when I'm feeling like it. But I know that a lot of people are struggling out there, and I myself over the past few years, working in healthcare during a pandemic and taking on new responsibilities, you know what I mean? There's a lot going on in most people's lives, having to deal with difficult family situations, or taking care of your parents or grandparents, or there's a lot of responsibility people take on. There's a lot of stress that people experience, really, that's outside of their control. I mean, a lot of the things that happen in life are out of your control. It's not something that you can change, you know what I mean? That even as simple as the way someone random treats you out in public, there's nothing you can do about that. You can, after the fact, you can freak out about it if you want, or start being antagonistic, maybe start a fight or something like that, but now you've just created, so like there was the one problem, the rude person, that was a problem, making you feel negative emotion, and then you blow up on them or get into a fight with them. Now you've got a whole host of other problems here, potential legal issues, or you might hurt someone really, really bad, and then now you've caused that problem for them and their family. Everything's so interconnected and complicated. It can be really dizzying sometimes to try to navigate through life. I feel that way oftentimes. Especially lately, I've been feeling, I'm sure anyone who's made anything creative, especially having to do it themselves, there's that inclination to feel like what am I doing? This is stupid. No one's gonna watch these videos. This is boring. No one wants to. Of course, that's one aspect of making them. Like my first videos that I put out, I would argue that they were boring, and I knew that. I could tell. I watched them, and I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty boring. And so that's kind of a pivotal moment, right? Because I could have been like, oh, they're boring. No one's gonna watch them. I'm not good at this. Go ahead and make some rapid judgments about my capabilities in this realm and about potential viewership or non-viewership. I could have accepted that as reality and then given up. Or another option I have is to, continue on and say, okay, well now I've identified a problem. They're boring. How do I make them more interesting? What can I do? So you start learning. Learn how people who make good, interesting, fun videos to watch, learn how they did it or how they like to do it, and use some of their strategies. For me, for sure, or at least at first, there was a kind of a draw. Damn, what's going on? My heart rate's going down? I don't think so. Well, it's like, you're dying, sir. Your heart has completely stopped. Your body doesn't require blood anymore. You're done. You've done it, sir. There we go. Okay. Yeah, alright. So I guess maybe I need to tighten it a little bit. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, my option. And I still get that feeling every now and then of like, this is dumb, forget about it. But this has been a dream of mine forever. Since, hell, before I even joined the Marine Corps, So we're talking like 20 years on. By the time I was a young man, old enough to, a teenager, but old enough to figure some things out and to start looking at different occupations and the things that different other people are doing, and start identifying, what I think is, well, number one, what I think is cool. Bodybuilding is just cool. I don't really care what anybody says. Being able to build a whole bunch of muscle and strength and not get super duper fat is impressive, because the harder you train, the hungrier you get. And, being a modern human, there's so much super high palatability food out there. There's so much really, really yummy food. Even, if you've been on the channel for a while, I'm a vegan, and it can be difficult finding vegan treats, but they're out there. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it's pretty easy to be a fat, unhealthy vegan. I could do it tomorrow if I wanted to. So the options are there, but the difficult and impressive part comes with having the discipline to only eat the foods, or to choose foods that are necessary for further development, for whatever my goal is. Whether it's I'm cutting and I just need to pick stuff that's gonna, that I'm not gonna gag on, that's kind of yummy. That's why I do when I do tofu, I have like 6 or 7 different Asian or like hot wing style sauces. All of them pretty low calorie, 25 calories a tablespoon or something. Now I'll toss them in those, or good old Frank's Red Hot is a kind of a standard for me. I'll use that to dip my tofu in. But the key when you're cutting is trying to find high protein, high fiber foods. And then also, I'm a big fan of having a decent amount of greens, especially leafy greens, with lunch and dinner, or even breakfast, if that's something you like. You have like a fruit salad with greens for breakfast, and we can throw a protein shake in there. That's one of the things that I actually find enjoyable. It's kind of nice knowing what I need. Now being hungry isn't that nice, but watching the results when you're cutting, they kind of like trickle in. Each day you're a little leaner, like last week, I finished that pull session with Jay here, and I was just feeling baller. I felt leaner. I didn't feel so like watery and full. Do some posing. I'm like, wow, this actually looks pretty good, and that's the fun part of it. You're eliciting a physiological change in yourself, and then the stricter you are and the more you find the joy in it, the better you get at it. So it really becomes like self-fulfilling and very, very rewarding the longer you stick with it. So I'm kind of rambling on here. Blow my nose real quick. Okay, rip off some layers real quick. Yeah. Alright, so I guess this whole discussion about options and what one chooses to do in a given situation, I guess it does kind of come down to discipline. But discipline, aside from having a genetic component, like, can I see my head? So yeah, aside from having a genetic component, discipline is a muscle. It's not actually physically a muscle, but it is a skill you can develop. So if you're not a very self-disciplined person, if you can take control of a couple small aspects of your day-to-day working, and you can get a handle on just a few things and do them well, you can start to train your self-discipline a little bit. I'm sure there's actual methods for developing discipline over time, and obviously if that's something you're interested in, you could look into it. But it's really interesting, actually. I've come across the idea recently that most people, I'm guilty of this as well, most people are interested in the cutting edge of most technologies or science. They're not really interested in learning like the basics. So like, for example, people will, and this is why I said I'm an example, I was curious about quantum physics. What even is quantum physics? I don't understand it at all. I have some vague idea of it, but because of my lack of base knowledge of physics, I'm pretty much completely lost. Even the notions that I have about it are spurious because they're maintained at my low level of knowledge on the overall subject and the base subject, even down to like chemistry. I know some chemistry, obviously, being a scientist practicing scientist for 5 years plus training. I know some things, but there's nothing anyone could say to me to make me understand quantum physics the way that experts in the field understand it. And it's the same thing with fitness. You're not going to watch one video or even a series of videos. You can learn a lot from them, but to really understand the concepts, you're gonna have to watch those and do a little bit of research about each of the concepts individually. That way you can figure out the epistemology that whoever's making claims is using, and the epistemology of the study of whatever tests or trials that they're referencing. And like, most people don't know how to read a scientific article. I've read dozens of them, and I still find it super laborious trying to, like, even just reading through an abstract sometimes. There's so much nomenclature, especially scientific ones, there's so much nomenclature and background information I'm having to go, like even in the abstract, I'm having to look up terms, figure out what does this term mean, okay, so it means this, and in this context, okay, they must be talking about this, and then they're referencing some other study where they found something, okay, let's look at that one, and then, you know what I mean, it's hours long process to like just look into one study or two studies. So it's one of the reasons that I don't come on here and act like I'm just an expert, like, oh, I know this is this way because of this. Another reason is because it just goes against my moral philosophy. I know how monumentally ignorant I am on most things. I know a little bit about some things. I know a little bit about fitness. Okay, I know a little bit about philosophy and logic. I know quite a bit about laboratory science, biochemical type stuff, immunology, stuff like that. I know some stuff, but I'm not ever going to be committing the argument from authority fallacy, where it's like, well, this paper says this, so it's true. You know, it's just the way it is. Especially because there's so many caveats, there's so many different circumstances where something might not be true, where it was true. And so admitting one's ignorance can help you be more open to learning about things, which is the whole thing most people don't want to do. And I would argue the reason people don't want to learn things from the ground up is because, one, it takes a long time, right? It's like extra, and especially if it's something you're interested in, you're not getting paid for it. If you have like kids and a family and a full-time job, bro, unless you're obsessed with something, you're probably not going to spend hours and hours each day. You know, when you finally get your kids to bed or whatever, and you've got 2 hours to yourself each day, you're probably not going to crack open a textbook and read about the basics of like sophomore physics. You know what I mean? Like, most people are just not going to do that. They're going to watch a video that kind of explains something, and then they're going to think that they got it. You probably don't got it. But that's okay. I mean, unless you're wanting to be an expert. I guess what I'm really cautioning against is pretending or presenting as an expert when you're really not. And a lot of people out there do that. They pretend they're an expert, and then they'll sell you something based on their faulty expertise. And this is the whole, it's a tired trope, but man, apparently it's never going to end. The old snake oil sales, apparently it's just never going to go away, because there's grifters everywhere, man. People out here scamming each other in new and ingenious ways every day. Things that no one ever expected. Yeah, people are scamming each other in new and ingenious ways. And it's kind of nuts, you know, like the whole crypto thing is really wild to me. Again, you know, just another example. I don't know very much about crypto, especially not what the point of it all is, because it seems to me that it's just a speculative market. You know, people are creating virtual items that other people are paying money for. It's like, it really is like Fugazi to me. It's magic fairy dust. But I mean, if people are willing to spend money on it, it has value, obviously. But I think that's become another vehicle of the snake oil salesman to use crypto as a way to fleece people. And we see it all the time. You know, all kinds of influencers and celebrities. They launch a crypto, and then a bunch of their fans buy into it. They don't know anything about crypto. They buy into it, and then everyone knows what's coming up. They rug pull it, right? And now you got these poor suckers that didn't know. They thought that, oh, this is cool. It's like a stock. And it's like, I'm purchasing a stock in a company, but it's unique to this guy I like. You know, cool. I'll spend, you know, $500 on it, and then 3 days later, it's gone. You know, all the money has been taken by however the scam was set up. You know, they'll have their initial buy-in investors or whatever, you know, shareholders. It's so slimy the way. I mean, if you're interested in, one of the most high-profile ones recently was the Hawk Tua. I've been obsessed with that. Anytime I see new information on there, I'm just like, damn. I mean, I feel sorry for Haley to some degree. She doesn't strike me as someone who did all this to scam people through a crypto coin. That doesn't seem like the case to me. I could be wrong, obviously. But there are people out there, malicious people, who will use someone like Haley to steal from others and then just keep moving on to the next, to the next, to the next. So be wary, especially of crypto. Be wary of snake oil salesmen. They're everywhere, okay? They're everywhere. They're at churches, they're at schools, they're in your home. They come to your door. I don't know why people still come door to door. That's wild, bro. Like, you're gonna come to my house, knock on my door, get my puppies all hyped. They're gonna go crazy so that you can try to sell solar panels to me? Dude, if I want solar panels, I will call you, okay? I don't need you to come to my house. Don't come to my house. Leave me alone, all right? Unless you want to come and talk about religion or something like that, come to my house. All right, you're welcome anytime. Well, you're welcome during work hours. I would say on weekdays, but weekends. Yeah. Actually, that's one of the topics I used to debate a lot, but less so now. Now it's more of I just find it interesting, the different camps and how they battle with each other. You know, Christians and Muslims, atheists and Jews, Buddhists and Hindus, and the way this whole thing interacts. It's very interesting to me, very fascinating. And there's good things in all of them. There are very good lessons to learn, things that can help you day to day in your life, concepts and tools. So it's a really fun topic, very interesting. If you guys ever, check out a debate sometime. Watch a debate between a religious and a non-religious person, or a Christian and a Muslim. And they're super interesting. It's really interesting to hear these differences in philosophy and how they get kind of hashed out. Oh man, that was a true ramble sesh, guys. It is a little early. Probably next time I ought to come up with a few different actual topics that I can speak on to completion here, because I don't want you guys to be like, where the hell is this dude going? What is he talking about? Don't worry about it, okay? I'm a little bit wacky, all right? I'm just a wacky little guy. So, got cardio done, 25 minutes. I'm like, I don't know, am I just a beast or what? Because my heart rate was wanting to hang out like 120 the whole time. I do know I weighed 180 this morning, so drop it down. Yesterday I was very strict. I was measuring things out with a measuring cup and stuff. Yeah, I think it's time. Yeah, during maintenance it was fine, but I think it's time to start measuring in devices like measuring cups and or weighing things on a scale. That way I'm getting the measurements right there and the calories in my. I've been Zach this whole time on this bike. If you didn't know, I appreciate you for watching and I hope y'all have a good one. See you later.